Well, welcome to our first post-play discussion of the 2009-2010 season, dedicated to the memory and spirit of Tony Larimer. And I'm also very excited and happy and proud to introduce to you Salt Lake Acting Company's new Executive Artistic Director, Jason Bruffy. He's going to moderate the first
I think this is the first time I've actually gotten to speak in front of any of our patrons. Thank you guys for coming very much. We're going to take a minute while we're waiting for the actors to get out of their costumes and pretty themselves up a little bit. Just to see if you guys have any questions for me, or just kind of reflect upon the play. How did you take it? It's an interesting piece, isn't it? Yeah? Have you seen Pinter before?
Yes.
Yeah, some of you have?
Yes. So this is not surprising.
So this is not, if you have seen Pinter, it's not surprising, but it's actually one of his more obscure pieces.
How successful was this play
when it was originally produced? Actually, I believe this is around his 6th play to be commercially produced, and it was the first one that actually had any kind of real success to it. It's the first one that really kind of brought Pinter to the public's eye as a kind of a main player in the playwriting scene at the time. But it was landmark for the time too.
And the audience is in the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah. 1960s specifically. What was that?
I just said the audience was like it when it was first produced.
Yes, absolutely. But it was so much different than the plays that were being produced at the time as well. I mean, how do you feel it reads to a contemporary audience? I'll ask the actors this later. But
I think the characters were very accessible. I could identify with all of them. I think we've had experience with almost every single character in some form or another. To the maybe not just eccentricity, but
sure. Yeah, it was actually. Pinter's plays are kind of put into the world of the absurd, more so than naturalism. Though the characters seem very real and normal. So sorry. Do I need to project a little more?
It's already.
No, hey, it's fine. My days of acting have long gone away, but I'll do my best to pump it up a little bit. Yeah.
I think we can still identify with Pinter's characters across time.
Yeah.
And the 60s was an era where there was more openness, I think, to problems of the homeless and thrusts in education to help low-achieving children and a lot of other things. But we were in a period of trying to increase our understanding of mental illness and other things. So I feel that the play is just as timely today.
Absolutely. I think that was the time when we started to address these.
Why do you say this is one of his more obscure plays?
What?
Need to interrupt.
Please interrupt. Good job. Good back. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, our cast. Mr. Matthew Ivan Bennett on the end there, correct? And Joe Cronin and Daniel Beecher. Yes, there was right. I've only met these fellows for a week, so I apologize as I pronounce their names. But fantastic job. Why is it one of the more obscure plays? Does anyone want to talk about
obscurity?
Yeah.
As an actor? Let me tell you about that. Yeah, it is an obscure play. It's not done much. Pinter's not done much these days. It's just not.
It's really hard to do.
Well, there's that. Yeah, there's that. It's a bit mysterious and so on. It doesn't necessarily give you all the details that you might want. I mean, a lot fewer than you say a Neil Simon might.
Partly too, with the Caretaker, there's a lot more unanswered questions. You know, we join these gentlemen in the room, and their lifespan together we watch unfold. But at the end of it, he leaves, and we're almost left in the same place we began, but just changed slightly. And I think that some of his other pieces, the ones that are more popularly presented, like Betrayal or The Homecoming, which recently had a revival, now they don't answer that many more questions. They seem to give just a little bit more insight than this one specifically.
I'm just glad that he found a pair of shoes that fit.
Fine, yeah.
What I was really drawn to in this, and I think it goes with the definition of text and the real sincerity and effort you made to just do what you were just speaking, because I kept feeling the feeling of desperation, relief, desperation, relief, and it was metered. It was like depending on the characters and what they were doing at the time, but that is what I think was so drew me in, is that just that desperation in every character, and then a little relief, and then as he walked out the door at the end, what was that? It was building again. You know, it was beautiful. It's like a song.
It was at that point I realized I had to go and live with my ex-brother-in-law.
Desperation.
And I'm trying to tell you what he puts in the saucepans.
Yes.
I had never seen this play before, but I read it before I came. And I found Davies totally despicable. And when you started playing him, I just saw aspects to him that I didn't get from reading it, like the fear and that false bravado about I've eaten in the best places or I've slept in beds before. And I just thought he brought out some complexity that I didn't get when I read it, and that was great.
Yeah. Well, he's, as the director, John described him, and as I completely agree, he has been in the wilds of the urban jungle so long that he has approached being an animal, a surviving animal. You look at a squirrel hunting for nuts, doing that all the time, and that's him. He's always looking out for danger, always looking out for how he can advance himself, because it's a continuous and brutal struggle he was in his whole life, virtually.
But I think you've hit on something interesting. I think my mom was an English professor, and she's going to come in and see the show. She lives in Canada, and she read it and called me up and said, I like it, but I don't get it at all. And I said, Mom, this isn't something to read. This you know, with drama, with theater, the text of it, what's written is not the text. The text is what happens when what's written hits here. And I don't think reading plays, you know, it's become very in vogue to read plays. I don't think plays are meant to be read. And I think you don't understand them until a director and a cast and designers have gotten their hands on it and created something with it. It's part of the deal, it's not the deal itself.
Wait a minute. How can you memorize the lines if you don't read it?
Oh no, we're supposed to read it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to release these gentlemen because they have a show later today. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And please, tell your friends.
How are you liking it so far? Good.